me telling you what to do. There's no questions here. You just listen to me for the next hour. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. It's just, I'm
And
just
if and
kidding.
if we do the same thing that you do, we will have the same results. Clear.
That's right. That's right. Yes. No, I'm just kidding. So welcome everybody. Glad you're here. Um, this is our connection call, and I love to see everybody that's here now has already been on a connection call, which is exciting that you're back again. Um, we do have Safita's going to be joining us. She said she'll be a little bit late, so she will be here a little bit later. And I guess what I'd love to ask everybody in the group, let me slow it down a little bit. Before I do that, I want to create this call a little bit. And for the people who are watching the Zoom recording, I don't know who you are, but hi, welcome. And I wanted to create the group and this time together. So this group is all about, if you're new to the group, this group is about love, service, connection, helping each other. This group is about service, and this group is about collaboration. Some would call it a mastermind, but I feel like it's beyond a mastermind. I feel like it's like, I don't know what's beyond a mastermind, but we're going to find out. Um, and it's also about no promotions and no spam in the group. It's all about coming together to help each other create a full, fun, exciting coaching business. Because I think everybody that starts coaching, this is an assumption, but I know I did. It was like exactly what Cheryl said. How do I get clients consistently so I can do this for my entire living? Right? It's like, how do I create a coaching business? Um, Julie, wow, you coming in? You coming in again twice? Okay. Um, how do I create a coaching business where clients are like excited to hire me, right? Like, because when I started coaching, I thought that people would be knocking down my door to hire me as a coach. I actually was worried. I was like, I don't want to get too popular. I don't want to get too big. I don't know if anybody else had this, but it was like, I don't want to get too famous, right? That's what I was thinking. And so I kind of limited myself in how I connected. And then once I started, I was like, oh, wait, that's not a problem at all. It was the total opposite. It was kind of like, oh, actually, here I thought everybody was going to be like, hey, you're a coach. I need help. And then I found out, like, no, it's not like that. So anyway, and I also want to create this call um, for listening for the call. I know it's easy to be distracted sometimes for me. So one thing I'm going to do is put my phone on. I'm going to put my phone on silent so I won't get any do not disturb. And I invite everybody to listen in the deepest way, because what will be shared here together is going to be valuable in helping each one of us to um, become the coach that creates clients consistently and fun, and make it fun, because sometimes it can be really hard and stressful when we do things. This is my experience. When I do things with an expectation that it's going to have a result and like people are going to connect, and then I do it and it doesn't happen, my energy kind of goes, ooh, it goes down. It's like I have this idea of like, hey, I'm going to post this and everybody's going to see it and they're going to see how great it is and they're going to connect, and then they don't. And then I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. What did I do wrong? I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but I get like this kind of thinking of like, I didn't do it right. Thinking, which I had that on one of our calls too. There was like 12 of us, and I was feeling like, what am I doing here? I'm supposed to be like, I'm supposed to be a leader or something, or what? I don't know, but I felt really weird, like scared, like I wanted to run away. I almost just wanted to close the call out. I was like, let's just close this out. I don't want to do this, I don't know if you've ever felt like that. Um, but I've talked for a little bit. So what I'd love to do is open it up to a question. I want to open it up to a question to everybody who's in the group. Hi, Ian. Hi,
Hey, how you doing?
Oliver. Hi, Denise. Hi, Julie. Hi, Joe. And we said hi to Cheryl as well. So what I'd love to do is open it up to a question of what would be most valuable for this time for you? I'd love to know. Is there a question that we can bring up that would be helpful for you? And before we do that, hold on to that question because this is Ian's first time in the group. So what I'd love to do is have Ian introduce himself. And um, Ian, would you tell us how long have you been a coach? What got you into coaching, and a little bit about what you're up to now?
Sure. My name's Ian Thomas. I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I've been in bodywork since 2007, and I found that supporting people in shifting some thinking of perspectives and how our thoughts create tensions, that was really helpful at easing the tension in my clients. And then I have expanded from simply doing body work into craniosacral therapy, which also acknowledges how emotions in the body can affect us. And over COVID, I wanted to be able to connect with people online, and coaching provided a great opportunity for that. So that's how I ended up taking some coaching classes and learning more about that. So basically, since the shutdown is when I got started.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Ian. So I'd love to come back to the question of what do you think would make this call most valuable for you? Because I don't necessarily have an idea of the direction of the call. This is mostly about connection. Um, but I'd love to create it to be the most useful for everybody present. Julie has her hand up.
I have an idea. Maybe we could go with the question the people have and see what 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 comes what comes. I really believe in masterminds. So masterminds works when we ask a question and together some we channel some answer for ourselves and other, and we can share what comes in mind, and maybe we will learn very interesting things that we didn't know before. So it's a suggestion, and if you have other suggestion, I'm open with that too. Yeah.
How's that sound to everybody else? Yeah, good. Sounds good to me. I like that. I think that's fun. I like the open space like that. Um, yeah, so if you want, I'd love to have you drop your question in the chat.
Hmm.
And like I had mentioned before I started recording, January 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, um, my coach is going to be coming to share some with us. And for us to prepare for that, we're going to collect a list of questions that people have about growing their full fun coaching business. And then I'm going to send those questions over, and then we'll create something that'll be most useful for the questions that come up in the group. Um, so I'd love if you drop a question in the chat, that would be great. Uh, and then maybe that's the question you have for today as well, because like I mentioned, I've noticed my question seems to stay very similar. You know, the questions that I have, they get a little bit more complex, but what question arises for you for today? Does anybody have something coming up? Julie?
The question I had for 14 years is how to create the leanest coaching business possible. So almost of my time is coaching and not marketing. And I have time also to take care of myself and to make a great living with coaching. So it's a very long question. It's the question I have for 14 years. I'm always refining to create that.
Can I ask you a question about your question?
Yeah.
When you say the leanest, did you say leanest?
Maybe, sorry, I'm French speaking. Maybe I invented a word. I want my business to be lean. Lean, few invoices, not a big administration, not big marketing,
Okay,
not big
gotcha.
finance. Just I want that almost of my time is doing coaching and not all the other things around. And I heard about
Okay, gotcha.
Steve Jobs. He said that when he wanted to create something new, he asked to the laziest person in the room to find how to create it. So he know that it will be the best way to create it, because lazy people are very skilled at finding the quickest way or best and quickest way to do things. Yeah. So I'm a lazy
Yeah.
person. Not lazy, but I like that my to be efficient, that my energy is put where I want it to be most of the time.
Yeah. And I'm curious, this could be useful for everybody in the group is
Mm-hmm.
what you started with that question 14 years ago, and
Yeah.
you still or have that question, which is fun how that happens, how we still have very similar question. But what have you experienced since you started till now that's been useful for you around to help you create that?
Yeah. What I've realized is that if I want to create that, I have to be good at two things. I have to be really good at transformation, at coaching, and I have to be really good at selling. I don't want to meet 10% and just sell to two clients. I want to meet three clients and I have 100% conversion rate, or it's my goal. I'm willing to have a 50% conversion rate before I have a 100% conversion rate. But I know that all of this is possible and it's just refining. And I want to have that kind of refining. It excites me to be efficient in life.
Yeah, so I heard you say two things. You said you've learned that you have to be great at transformation,
Yeah, a great coach.
facilitating
Yeah,
transformation. So be a
yeah,
great coach.
yeah,
And the second part was be great at selling. So
yeah,
be great at the what some people would call the proposal conversation,
yeah.
being able to lead somebody in a proposal conversation,
Exactly.
right?
And it's what I'm learning now with you, Robert, and the resource that you share on the group. Yeah, but uh, yeah, and I'm really happy about that. Because before I thought that I had to have a program, to have a niche, and I've realized that a really great coach can coach anyone. A really great coach can coach his neighbor, he can coach anyone. So it's not about being good. The only thing we have to be good at is transformation, and we have to know everything transformation. So yeah, So, and the other thing I learned with you and the other resources you share is that we don't have to find clients. We can create them. Yeah. And anyone around us is a potential client. We have to reach to the part of the person who is our client. That in every people around, there's a part that is our client. We just have to speak to that part. And so for me, it looks like easier than what I thought before. All I've learned about coaching and marketing, and yeah. And I'm very humble with saying that I talked to Joe this week, and I'm very humble to say that even if I did my course in coaching, I was not coaching. I was teaching.
Mm.
And it's okay. It's good, but teaching is not coaching. And I think that we teach because we think we know, and we think that it's our knowledge that provides value to our coaching, but it's not that. What provides value is the space we offer and the quality of the question we ask, so they can reach their own truth and find their why and find how they will achieve that. We don't know. It's better to not know the answers than to know, because when we know, we it's like we want them to create their life as we do, but it's not that. They have to create their own life. And when we do things like that, we remove the responsibility of creating result from us, and we put it to them. So, and now I know that what creates result is their level of commitment. It's not me. I'm just an accountability partner. So their level of commitment will create the result, and the level of commitment is related to the inner why they want to change, why they want this transformation, what they want to become. And it is that. And if they are inspired in that, and we make them taste that, they will just ask, can you help me with that? Can you support me with that? So it's what I've realized that with the calls I had this week. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm curious. Something that comes up for me is two things. One is, are there any questions arising for the people who are present, that have been present for the conversation, that have heard what's come up? Are any questions or any reflections that you have around what Julie has shared?
I just got a question. When she used the word create, how do you create clients? Unless I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm multitasking here because I'm at work. So
Robert, do you want to answer, or do you want me
Sure, I
to
can.
answer?
Sure, I'd be happy. I mean, I can be happy to share what comes up for me now. Um, I think in the beginning I had a very my mindset, and I think also I want to say this, there's no wrong way to do it. It's like the only wrong way to do it is to not do it. You know what I mean? Is to just not do it. So it's like no matter what whatever the thinking is just showing up and doing your best and connect with people and keep on going, because I think this is something that creating clients is something that is a journey that we're all on, and we're just at different places in the journey, you know. um and you do it however you can do it, whether I used to do cold messaging and I cold message all kinds of people, and I was like, is your life bad enough and are you desperate enough to work with me? I didn't say that, but that's kind of where I felt like I was like, does your life suck enough that you're willing to pay me money to sit with me and hope that I can fix it? And I'd be like, yeah, I surely can fix it. I can do it, you know, and that's okay because that's where I was at that time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like I think it's being able creating clients is being able to create a space within ourselves that is safe enough to connect with someone else in a way that can allow them to um, when we can create that space that can allow them to find their own answers. um, that really is what creates clients the most for me is I see that creating clients is like really caring about somebody, really, really caring about somebody else's life. And that's hard to do sometimes, especially when for me, um, I, I left a job that I had and I was like, I'm going to be a coach. And I didn't have money coming in. So I was really scared. I was like, I need clients because I got to pay my bills. And with that pressure on me, it was very hard for me to be with somebody in a space without being like, I need money. I need money, And that space was really hard for me to connect with another person without trying to be like, man, I hope this person really pays me. I gotta be powerful and great.
Mm.
Um, I have to
Yeah.
be this thing for them. I have to change their life in a massive way for them to want to be with me. Um, and that I've started to wake up to the fact of like all I really have to do is really just care about somebody, to show up
And connect.
and care about them and connect and really care about them. And that's hard to do because we have to be at the highest level of care in my experience, I have to be at the highest level of care for myself
And
to be able
connection.
to
Yeah.
show up for somebody else and care about them. And that takes work on self. It takes being, having that thing that whatever brings you joy and saying yes to that. And sometimes in the beginning we can be hurried and rushed, and we can have all this stuff build up. And for me, that's the main thing. And I shared about this on a Zoom call that was so Peter, you were there. you know it's like still I'm like I feel like I'm hiding in service sometimes because I could be out taking a walk and I'm not. I'm answering messages and I'm talking to people and I'm helping people. But the lady that shared, Melissa Ford, she's going to be here possibly in February to share with us on a Zoom call. She said, you are part of the service equation. If you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't have that highest level of care for the person that's present. um, and and that it's like it shows up. It's real evident to me whenever I'm not taking care of myself. And just about a month ago I was really not doing well in myself, and I found that the coaching sessions I had were hard, stressful, and I was like, I hope this gets over with soon because I don't want to sit through this listening to this person's stuff, you know and that's not service. I remember doing that in a business where people would come in the door and I'd be a serving. I was a waiter and I worked at a family business, and people come into the door and I'd be like, I just hope this place burns to the ground soon so I don't have to do this anymore. That's not service.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's not service. And that doesn't, from that space, we don't create a sense of wanting to connect from the other person. So I think what Julie said about connection, it really is a care for another person and being like, hey, maybe I can serve you, maybe I can't. Cool. Either way, it's cool. How about we check it out and find out? Let's see if there's a way I can serve you. And let's see if us having a conversation is valuable. And if it's not, cool. And if you don't have the money to work with me, cool. I will find you someone. I will help you find someone who can serve you at that level of what your commitment is at. So it's like really caring about people at all levels. And I used to have conversations, and if it didn't work, I'd say, "Oh, I screwed up. They're never going to want to talk to me," and then I wouldn't talk to them anymore.
Mm.
But that's somebody that at some point might be ready for the level of commitment to work with me, and it's somebody I can still serve, you know? But when it's all about me, I'm like, nope, next, never talking to you again. Nope, next, never talking to you again. Just moving on to the next person instead of growing the people that I can serve, and then the people who are meant to come to me come to me. But this isn't about me. I want this to be most valuable to you because I don't have the answers. I have the experience of what has worked for me, and I want this to be about everybody who's here. Like this
I
is
can throw
about
a little
you.
bit of I could throw a little bit on this whole conversation, because when I first came into this coaching space, I started with the attitude of a traditional marketer because that was my job. That's what I do. And what I was offering was teaching. I wasn't offering coaching. Didn't know that. Fixed my mindset on that. And now I look at marketing way differently because before I looked at it as you put an ad on Facebook, you throw money on the fire, bam, you get some followers. The people are interested in what you're doing because they're following you, but you're teaching them, not coaching them in that capacity. And that's not building a connection to the client. So they're probably not going to be your coaching clients. They may become teaching clients if you got a teaching type product or a seminar or something that they'll attend. That might work for that because in that space, that works great. But in the space we're working in, it really doesn't. You have to offer value in people's posts, like on the bottom of Facebook, you go on the comments and add real value. If somebody says something that you can add something to, you add your value to it, and eventually people will see the kind of value that you add and they'll want to start talking to you. And then when they start talking to you, you can invite them into your world. And I mean, to each of us, we all have different price points and what we want to get out of this. And but you do have to understand what it is you're offering and how to offer it because the sales is the next step. There's marketing
Mhm.
and then there's the sale. Once you know what you want to offer, then you can make it about the sale. But if you don't know what you're offering, you can't offer it correctly. And that's what I learned about sales and marketing in coaching. It's different than your traditional marketing in every way. It doesn't work that way. You shouldn't use that method. And I really, really, really do love what you said today, Julie, about lean marketing. I've read books on that before, and I understand the concept. As soon as you said it, I already knew what you were talking about. What that means from my perspective is keeping all of your business very, I could do it all on my phone. Literally, you could run it on your phone. Well, you all you need is your Google Calendar, and you need your schedule, and you need your notes app so that you can take notes and keep people accountable to the things that they need to achieve. That's all you really need. The rest is about talking and listening and understanding. And that's what I've learned this week as far as coaching and marketing and how it's different for this field in particular.
Cool.
Mm. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. You know what question Joe said that I think is really valuable for us to ask is, what are you selling? What is it that you're selling? Because if you
Hmm.
don't know what you're selling, if you don't know what you're selling, how do you get somebody to buy it? So, what is it that you're selling?
Um, I asked myself this question very, very often, and a lot of people, when we are asked this question, what are you selling? I sell coaching. I sell. I do this like that and like that and like that, and we will work on your mindset, blah blah blah. And so I'm telling how I do coaching, and I'm trying to sell how I do coaching, okay? But people, they want to buy how we do coaching. They want to buy the result. They want to buy the result. And sometimes a lot of people, they don't even know what is the result they want for themselves. So we have to dig to find it. It's, I think that it's the beginning of being a coach, is to dig to find what the person truly wants. And you know what? People, they don't want things and achieve results, and they don't want that. They want an inner feeling, a way of being. It's what people want. And they put a lot of conditions between them right now and this inner feeling. They want to embody a state of being, and they believe that they have to achieve X, Y, Z in order to feel that. But so I think that it's really important to find, to dig, and to find the why. Why do you want that? In Nick Bottini's session, he talked about that, but I learned that also in Landmark Education. And we were asking like 5 times, why do you want that? Why do you want that? Why do you want that? So the person really feels inside of her why she really wants what she wants. Yeah.
Awesome. And does anybody have any questions out there that are arising, or any comments around this? Because I do have one that came up, but I'd like to hear from somebody else in the group if something's come up for you. So the other question is, another good question is, okay, what are you selling? Does anybody else have any answers to that? Like, what are you selling? And what Julie's saying is, it's the result. So Fida, what for
Hi,
you?
everybody. Hi, everybody. Sorry I was late, but I made it. Okay, so I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Robert. So actually, that's a very good question, because sometimes it's very hard to answer it. And I think what I am realizing as I go is creating space for the people is one of the huge thing that I think we are not selling, but what we are just creating a space for them to reflect, with us. And I think coming to that clarity for all of the if that is the whole purpose of the session, that's perfect. So I think if somebody asked me, what do you sell? I would say that, you know what, I don't sell. I just create a space for us to have a conversation over what you have. And I'm going to ask you some questions to clarify things. That's all I do. So and in this space, how I am appearing for you is that I'm not judgmental. I'm very curious to understand what is going on. And I'm going to ask you questions to be able to figure out together more and to get to know what you really want, So I think that's it. That's what I would like to provide for the people.
Awesome. I love that. And Oliver, we're going to get to you right after this. And I want to say, Sapita, this is your first time here. So
Yes,
love for
yes.
you to share with everybody, like, how long you've been coaching, what got you into coaching, and what you're excited about and what you're working on now, if you're open to that.
Yes, for sure. So in 2020, me and Robert, we were in the same cohort for RMT. So for core 100 of Madanes, Robin Madanes. So that is when I started to taking the coaching more seriously, because before that I had a background in human systems intervention. So meaning that I was consulting for the organizations, and part of it was coaching. And the part that I became interested while I was working with the different organizations and corporates was the coaching part that I was providing for the employees and the management. So that is when I realized, you know what, I don't want the other parts of it. I like to work on the coaching part. And then I started in 2020 with that certification, and I went very back and forth. Again, you know, the financial thing was something because I decided to quit my job, and then I became so worried about the finance part, and then I went back and forth to the time that I realized it makes me sick if I do the other things, you know. So that's why I decided it's a and that I paid a very high price for that because I really got sick for 3, 4 months, and it took me so much to be able to get out of it, to the point that the therapist I have, she was able to provide that space for me to be able to figure out why I am to this level. And then after that, I said that, you know what, bye to that job. I am committed to this. So that's where I am.
Cool. Thank you for sharing, Sapita.
You're-
I really appreciate what you shared too. Create a space for conversation, not judgment, and asking questions to help people clarify. Really,
Yes, thank
really
you.
great stuff. Oliver, you got your hand raised.
Yes, thanks everyone, and also thanks Sepide for telling her story. We had this question of what we are selling or what we are offering. I think the word offer is more generalistic. And my other question, which can be complementary to that, is that to whom we are talking, or who might want this service. And particularly, are we just targeting or talking to people who are already convinced about the concept of coaching, convinced about the benefits that might come out of coaching sessions? Or we are also talking or targeting to general public who might not be still convinced about coaching and who might never have had a coaching session, but due to our content presentation, what we put out there, the trust, whatever that we build, then they might be interested to get coaching session with us.
That I love that reflection. And so I don't know if something comes up to somebody else to share. There's something that comes up for me around that. I'd love to hear from somebody else if they have something.
Is it possible, Oliver, just to make a synthesis of your question, because I lost the
My
question.
question is that, for example, assume that you're creating content, YouTube videos, to reach out to your potential clients, to the people who can resonate with you. Are you talking to people, and are you interested only to engage with people who are already interested in coaching and know what coaching is and want to get a coach? Or you're also talking to audiences who might be new to coaching, either don't even know what coaching is, because that's already a big chunk of population, or they might have heard about it but have never thought about getting a coach, or if they have thought about it, they have never tried it. There are different levels. Are we talking to all those people, or we mainly talking to people who are already have had a coach, already find benefit in having a coach?
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying there, Oliver. And it's a great question, to whom, and there's two things that come up. One is, I've created conversations, coaching conversations with people at the post office, on an airplane, at a coffee shop, at a grocery store, because even if people don't know what coaching is, our level of presence in the moment is a reflection of what that space is going to be for them in a coaching session, is what I experience. So when we can have that level
Mhm.
of presence in all our daily affairs, that is a reflection of like, hey, what's up? But this conversation's different than other conversations that I have with other people. And then when we listen in a way, we can hear something that that person may share. This is what this happens for me. The person will share something. I'll give you an example. I went to the post office and I had a Ultimate Coach book. This is the concentrated version I'm going to show you. But this book, reading this book really was amazing for me. I had an amazing experience. So I was sending the book to Julie because we talked
Mm.
on she said she never read it. So I was like, all right, I'm going to send you the book. So when I was at the post office, the lady at the front, I was
Mhm.
having fun, I was creating, having a good time and talking to her. And I said, I'm sending this book to somebody in Canada. And I said, this book was amazing. It transformed my life. And she was like, really? What's the name of the book? And I told her it was the
Mhm.
Ultimate Coach book. And I said, I have one at home, and I tell you what, I'd love it if you would take this book. I'd love to bring it to you if you'd read it. It's an amazing book. And she said yes. So the next day I went back with a book and I gave her a book. Now I asked her, I said, hey, when you read this, do you promise that you'll tell me what your experience is? And I gave her my card. One of my music cards. I don't have coaching cards, but I gave her a card for my music business with my number on it. And I said, will you call me after you read this? And she said, yes. So that is going to be a possibility for a conversation that will lead to possibly somebody I can serve. It's already somebody I'm serving, but it's a possibility of a deeper level of service. And I'm sure there's people in her family that may be excited. It's hard to say what that will lead to.
Yeah.
So when we slow it down, even if they don't know what coaching is, we can give them a powerful experience of coaching. We can create that space, like Peter said, and we can invite them into that space
Mm.
as a service. And when they experience that, then when we have a system to, create the space to find out what they want, and so we know what we're selling them, and then maybe it's a good feeling, but I'll tell you something else, Julie, is people don't pay for a good feeling. People have their minds attached. Some people will pay for a good feeling. Let me rephrase that. In my experience, typically people want a result in the world, because money is this thing in the world. They want a result in the world that they can attach, like, I'm spending this money, I want the result in the world, whether that's a full list of clients, whether that's my wife to pay attention to me, or my wife to stop complaining all the time, whatever it is, like they want that result. So that's the other question that comes up is, what will the person in front of you pay for? That's another important question,
Can I
because
add a little bit about
hold
that?
on, I'm not finished yet, Joe. And we
I'm
have
sorry, I didn't mean
about
to cut
12
you off.
minutes, but there's two things: is you find out what does the person want and what are they willing to pay for? Because sometimes, people aren't willing to pay for, they feel like they don't have the space or the time for the coaching conversation, or the way that they create us, by some judgment they have of us, won't allow them to see through that, to see the possibilities, or they're just scared. Coaching is scary. It's scary to coach with somebody and dig down to the deepest parts of ourselves to figure out, like, why am I not doing this? Like, I know I want it. Why am I not doing that? We have to really face a part of ourselves that not everybody's ready to face, and that's okay, because we can still serve them and maintain the relationship until they are, or maybe they won't be, but it's okay because we can help them in the way that they want to be helped. This is just my experience, and um, it sounds like Joe had something that he wanted to add to what we're sharing here.
Yeah, so with the mindset shift that I'm having through this process of what I'm offering and figuring out what I'm offering, I learned that there is no target market. It's not the same. You don't look at people like a target. They're not necessarily buying from you because you have this great thing. No, no, no. They're building on a connection. And what I found is I was told by Robert there's two keys to being able to be a good coach. The first one is have a coach and then be a coach and repeat that cycle and offer it to more people. And that is the key to coaching in the marketing side of this. You just keep coaching other people, and then eventually people will connect with you. And then, like Robert was saying earlier, there you'll find what they're looking to what they're looking to purchase. It really isn't you, it's them, what they want you to unlock for them, what they want to be held accountable to, what results they want to achieve. But you have to figure that out first. So that is truly one of the difficult things that I found, is figuring out what it is that they're buying. And what they're buying is you, because all sales is you. If I have if I knock on a door and I say, "Hi, I'm Joe with X company," that's a sale. And so when you're selling, you're connecting too. But this type of sale isn't necessarily like, "Hey, I'm selling some windows. It'll make your electric bill go way down. It'll be great." It's not like that. It's more of, what problem do you have? Why do you want to fix it? What result would you achieve if you had that? And then again, why do you want that? Because if you know why you want something, then I can help you find what it is you want and why. Whether it's, you know, fixing your relationship with your wife or kids, losing weight. I mean, it could be the spectrum of people's problems. What do you want to learn about yourself? And what are we going to talk about to learn about it? The more you know about it, and the more you hold that as your why, and the more you hold your own accountability to it, and the more you write it down, and the more you reiterate that writing it down, the better coaching you are actually providing. And that's what I've learned through what I'm doing, is it's not about, hey, I like, because I can expand my Facebook list. I literally expanded it, like I'm at 150 followers and I've only been doing this 2 weeks. I can expand your Facebook, but that's not the goal. Like, I thought that was the goal. I came in it as a marketer. I can throw money down on it and get you, throw content out here, more and more content, pay attention to me, that, but that doesn't work to create a coaching client. So if you want a coaching client, I think you have to slow it down and go back to the very basics. Have a coach and be a coach and do those activities every day.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
one other thing around that that comes up is just practice, because it's like the practicing of creating a conversation. Just keep doing that over and over. Then you actually find out what works for you, because just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Like the people, I learned how to do it through going out and do it, and the way I learned to get better at it is to continue to do it. And that's the place that's why coaching is the most important, and learning, like just taking the step of connecting with somebody, you find out what works. Like just keep connecting with somebody, and maybe you connect with them over 6 months and they never say yes to a conversation, and maybe they will sometime. It's like, just keep creating. And I want to come back to Oliver, because I want to see if is what was shared, does that open up and give you more, like when you're asking that question, to whom, and knowing that and sharing that with the group, do you feel like we covered that? And I want to be conscious that we have about 5 minutes.
Thank you. Yes, indeed, I got insights, particularly in practical interaction. We can still work on this question on the content creation side, like your online presence. When you don't have the direct chance to interact with that person. You just put out words and insights or whatever you have to offer to public, and you want to connect with them. Although it has similarities with marketing, because also in marketing you have to target particular clients. But if you're doing just creating content for public audiences, that's also a way of connecting, but you usually don't have the chance to have direct one-on-one interaction with them. And you're
Right.
better to know who you're talking to. Probably you don't want to talk to everyone in the world, because then your content will be like without direction.
Yeah,
Uh,
understood. Go ahead, Sapita.
Yeah, sorry if I interrupt. Just one phrase, Oliver, I don't know. At one point, somebody told me, it helped me. So I would say that for that question that you had, it had two parts. It says that I don't know, my target is going to be the people that who have the experience of coaching, or they're the people that don't have the experience of the coaching. I would say just remove the or, put and see how you feel about it. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Julie has her hand up.
The answer that came in mind to answer your question, Oliver, is that it depends on how you see yourself. It depends on how you create yourself. Do you create yourself as a coach, or as a person who is only able to have a conversation with the people who already know what is coaching, or you create yourself as a person who is able to have a conversation with anyone? I think that for me, it was that I was limiting myself. I was seeing myself like a little poor coach that is only able to explain coaching to the people who already know what is coaching, when in fact I just have to be loving and of service and connect with humans, and they don't know that I'm having a conversation, a coaching conversation. They don't know, but they can feel what it feels like to have that kind of conversation. And this will sell to them, not it's not knowing what is coaching that will sell to them, is the how they will feel in with me. So yeah. And you know what? A lot of in 14 years, a lot of people came because I posted content. I didn't post content to have client, but I just post what I've realized, my insight, my awarenesses, because I learned that speak your truth and your tribe will find you. So I was just radiating what felt good to me, and a lot of people that I don't know came to me and said, I don't know what you do in life, but I would like to talk with you. I want to, uh, what is coaching? Can you explain me? So, it just be myself and radiate what I am, attract to me people that didn't even know what coaching is and who wanted to have a conversation with me. So I offered them a conversation. So, but before I met Robert, I was really pushy in the conversation, wanting to sell my thing instead of just connecting with someone. But now I connect with people, and it's easier and it works better. Yeah.
Awesome. I really appreciate everybody sharing today. This has been a great call for me. And one last thing I want to invite you to is I posted this on my Facebook the other day. I have an audio. It's called from Steve Chandler. It's called The Most Powerful Client Attractor in the World. I'm not sure if I posted it in the group or not. Maybe I did, but if you would like the audio, send me a message after this on wherever. Just send me a message and I'll make sure that you get the audio. Because it takes what we're talking about here, and it's Steve Chandler. I mean, the dude's like the godfather of coaching. So he has some great reflections of what's worked for him and what he sees. So I'd love to share it with you if you feel like it's valuable. And also January 15th, 2 p.m. Eastern, Raghav Parkash is going to be talking about creating clients, how to create clients. Please send me your questions if you haven't already. Please send me your questions also in a message because we want to collect those and create that to be most valuable for the people in the group. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate you all.
It was a nice
Thank you.
conversation.
Have
Thank you.
nice,
Yeah.
nice holidays.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
happy hey, Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, for everybody.
Happy holidays.
It's good to see you all. Good to see you,
Thank you
Denise,
so much.
Sakita,
I
Oliver,
appreciate all of you.
Joe,
Thank you, Robert.
Julie, Ian. Yep. Take care.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye-bye. See you, Cheryl, if you're still here.